Luke tells us the story of a Roman official who is highly loved, not just by his own household, but by the larger community. Luke tells us that this Roman official even built the synagogue for the Jews. The people loved him, not because of how he ruled, but because of his respect for people, I assume. He treated people with such respect and love that the community, this is a Gentile, this is a Roman, but yet he's loved by the Jews because of the way he led the people over whom he had authority. And so on this occasion, when one of his servants was ill, and I suspect he had done everything, sent him to all the specialists, done everything he could, and yet nothing. Having heard stories about this unconventional rabbi, if you will, who was all over the place, probably have heard the story about him raising Lazarus from the dead, probably have heard the story about the woman who had the issue of blood and had been cured, probably heard the story about him feeding the 5,000. You have heard some of these stories, and so he figured out, well, what do I have to lose? Called some of the folks and said to them, the leaders, the elders of the society, and said, go and ask Jesus to come and do something for my sick servant. And so they go to Jesus and they say to Jesus, he is loved by all the people. We are here to plead for him so that you can come and not so much take care of him, but that you can come and heal his servant. Jesus comes along. But while they are still on the way, others come to him and say, Jesus, the Roman official does not want you to come under his roof. But just say the word and it will be done. Because he knows what it's like to have authority over people. You say, go, come, do this, do that. And so Jesus, just say the word and all will be well. Jesus does not say any word as far as we can tell from the text, but he addresses the faith of this Roman official. To know that he has such faith, but also he has such sense of authority. So he doesn't want Jesus to come under his roof. Maybe there is something else at play here that we do not hear in the gospel text. Jesus is a Jew, and he is on his way to the home of a Gentile. That much is not said in the text. But this Roman official, recognizing his position in the community, said, Jesus, don't bother yourself to come under my roof. Just speak the word because I know you too, just like me, have authority. But Jesus does not say be healed or any other thing. But those who have been sent, when they go back to the official's home, the servant is fully recovered. And he's going about, if you will, his activities. Many of our world leaders need to read this text today and remind themselves about what it is to be in authority. It's not to impose upon those you lead, but to love them and serve them and respect them in such a way that they will love you and respect you. The leader was not respected because he lorded over the people. he was respected because they were treated with respect and dignity. And because of that, he was loved. It's not only for world leaders, it's for all of us. How we treat one another. How we go about respecting the dignity of every person. How we love those who sometimes make life difficult. But how we carry ourselves. That people will say, yeah, that's someone I want to be like, if you will. The people who spoke highly of this leader were not Romans. They were Jews. And if you know the history of the Romans and the Jews, you will know that it must have been very special for them to be able to come to Jesus and plead for this person. And not, again, for himself, but for his servant. You and I are called to respect the dignity of every human being. Treat people with respect. And then they will respect you and love you because you have treated them with respect. Jesus does not speak the word to heal the servant. He acknowledges the Roman official faith, and something happens in the home that the servant is restored to health. My brothers and sisters, we are called by Jesus to go forth and be witnesses of his love and compassion. It won't be easy because the world we live in, people will challenge us. But can we love and respect others even when we are challenged? I say yes.
Yes.
We should. We can disagree. We all will not always agree with one another. And if we all did that, we'd be in serious problem today. Dare I tell you about the political climate today? We will not agree with one another about everything. Dare I tell you about the Episcopal Church today? We will disagree with one another, but can we respect one another in our disagreement? There lies the challenge. Can you still respect me and treat me with dignity if I disagree with you over this issue or that issue or whatever the case may be? Do you have to hate me and treat me with disdain because you and I disagree? I assure you, the Christ we serve disagreed with people during his time, but he still treated them with respect. The Roman official who sent the Jews to Jesus, I can assure you, did not always agree with all of the people that he administered. But I believe from the text that he treated them with dignity and respect, so that they in turn treated him with respect. He could have commanded it, but then would there have been true respect? No. He loved them and treated them in a way that they treated him with respect. And as people of God, that's our challenge. Because the world in which we live, we will be pressed sometimes to disrespect people because of where they are, because of who they are, and because of their opinion. But that's not the Christ way. The Christ way is for you and me to love them in spite of themselves and treat them with dignity. And so this servant in the home of this Roman official, I can assure you, Whatever the case might have been for him, he always would have served faithfully because his master had his best interest at heart. Because his master did everything to make sure that his health was restored. And that included sending to Jesus and asking him to come and do something. When all else had failed, Jesus did something and health was restored. The same for you and me. When you have tried and tried and tried and nothing seems to work, I know the one who is able to make things happen. One of the signs we put up says, if you are drowning in the sea of life, our lifeguard walks on water. Jesus is able to raise you from the depths of life's concerns. Call out to him. Just as the Roman officials sent others to Jesus, you don't have to send anyone to Jesus. Call out to him and he will reach out to you because you are that important to him. He will treat you with respect and dignity. He loves you in spite of you. He loves you regardless of what your beliefs are. He loves you and he will reach out to you. So, Lord, I am not worthy to have you come under my roof, but just speak the word. What word do you want Jesus to speak to you this morning? What word do you want Jesus to speak to you this morning? Where are you on life's journey? In the midst of all of the ups and downs, the twists and turns, where are you this morning? I know he wants to speak a word to you. Better yet, he knows what you brought in here with you this morning. And he will speak the word to you. But are you listening to hear him speak that word? Are you listening to hear him speak that word? He may not speak as you are listening to me. He may speak as you are listening to him. Speak, Lord, speak, for your people are listening.